Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Hello, welcome again. Been a while to the Ultimate Manifestation Podcast. I'm your host, Reverend Sean Robert Grant, aka Sean Robert Grant. It's funny, I was about to say, welcome to the Law of Attraction Podcast, but it's interesting because it does have a lot to do with the Law of Attraction and manifestation. And so this is something that I've just been enormously passionate about. It's riddled throughout all, I would say, 6 or 7 of the books that I've written. If you read my articles, you know I'm a huge law of attraction manifestation enthusiast, and the beauty is I love to share the things that I learn. I love to share everything that I've been able to divinely discover over the course of the past 15 or so years since I've been doing this work. And I'm excited about today. So before we get into that, let's take care of some business here real quick. Guys, if you have any questions, any comments, anything you'd like to share at any point in time, please, by all means, send us an email at shaung04@gmail.com, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. This is also airing not only on, I think, 8 different platforms. It's also copied to YouTube. So if you want to leave a comment on my YouTube, you can do that. I can get back with you there. Whatever it may be, please, by all means, feel free to be open, communicate honestly and authentically, and we will do our best to make sure that, we get you up to speed with whatever it is that you are trying to get up to speed with. So with that being said, I know this title sounds a bit clickbaitish, but I wanted to do it because I've never really done a segment on this. And let me start off by saying that props to Rhonda Byrne. Full respect. As a matter of fact, Rhonda Byrne is a remarkable individual in what she was able to accomplish with The Secret. But I'll tell you something, and it's not any fault of hers. I think they were so keen on getting it out in a way to where it didn't sound all woo-woo, esoteric, spiritualized, right, metaphysical in so many different ways that they watered down the concept of the law of attraction and manifestation. And so if you saw that movie when it came out in 2004, even of late, recently, almost 20 years now, you begin to discover as you grow in these segments of the law of attraction and manifestation, you begin to see that they left a lot of stuff out. And I can tell you from my own experience, which I will hear right now, and how I came across that concept. And, it was interesting because here comes this movie that's telling you can have whatever you want in life. Now, for people during the time of when I was a child, and even as an adult at that time, because I was 23, I believe, when The Secret first came out, for someone to come along out of the blue and tell you that there are endless possibilities, there are infinite opportunities for you to be who you desire to be and choose to live your life in the way that you choose to live it. That was like, whoa, it was like a magic spell had just been dropped. And it was one of the most compelling experiences of my life. And I just wish for this reason alone, they took the time to explain it a little bit, because I'm going to tell you what wound up happening after I saw that film and saw it again. And I think I saw it a third time, and I got inspired, and then I started trying to find all these books that I could on the law of attraction. And back then there wasn't very many of them. The one that I think that really solidified and helped me in such a wonderful way with this whole concept was Joseph Murphy's The Power of the Subconscious Mind. He really went in depth with this concept. And then Neville Goddard's another one that they really just explain it. Aside from him and a few other the metaphysical teachers of that time, there wasn't much out there on the topic. So you can imagine when you see this movie and they tell you, you just got to think positive thoughts. You just got to feel what it is that you want. You've got to imagine. You got to do this and do that. And knowing what I know today, it's a great start, but it's a misleading start. And it's like I said, it's no disrespect to them, because I guarantee you, knowing the movie business and the entertainment business like I know, they did everything possible to make sure that all of it wasn't given to you, but just enough was given to you just to frustrate you. Right? Just enough was given to you to frustrate you and to make you feel like, wait a minute, what am I supposed to do with that? And then you wind up saying, you know what, I'm just going to give up. I can't deal with it anymore. Okay. So what I'd like to do right now is just give you some of the keys, some of the things for basic manifestation and law of attraction to help your life, to help you to understand. And you may have heard these concepts and you may not have, but at the end of the day, anyone can use them. Doesn't matter where you are in your life. You can use these to manifest the very things that you want. Okay. So the first one I want to talk about, and I don't have these numbered, I'm just basically coming off the top of my head with my own divine wisdom that I've been blessed to receive. The first thing you have to realize is that there's no such thing as a past or a future when it comes to the universe. Okay. When it comes to the universe, everything is always present tense, right? So a lot of times where I got tripped up was, I would say I am going to be rich with $10,000 a month in income. And if I say I am going to, the universe sees that as it's going to happen, but it's not happening right now. So although that seems pretty simple, that's one of the most pivotal parts of the manifestation and the law of attraction. If you don't place your intention in a present tense capacity, it will push your manifestation further and further away from you. So it has to be present tense. And that's pretty simple. Like I said, you may have heard this before, but the reality is that it just cannot be something that you overlook, because what you're going to find is you're never going to manifest what you want to manifest. And if you do, it will be fragmented. And when we say fragmented, it seems like, okay, this is maybe what I wanted, but I don't know if it really is, because there's things missing. There's things not there. There's things not really adding up, right? So you always want to be present tense. Now, what can happen is you can say something in present tense, and then your subconscious mind can say, well, no, I don't believe that. What are you talking about? So right when that happens, right, and I'm taking a page out of Noah St. John's book here, and this is a really great way, and you'll know whether or not your subconscious mind accepts it by the feeling that you get. You'll get an intuitive feeling. You'll either feel like expansive or you'll feel contracted a bit. If you feel contracted, all you need to do is take that present statement and turn it around into a question. So instead of saying, I am infinitely rich with an infinite supply of money, presently making $10,000 in income, you say, why am I so infinitely rich with an infinite supply of money, presently making $10,000 in a month income, right? And you ask that question. Now, here's what's going to happen, okay? Because the mind was built for this. The mind is when it comes to answering the questions that you have and the questions that you need, it's like a heat-seeking missile. It will find its target. If you give your mind things in objectives and ideas to play with, so to speak, it will find every single thing you need. And if it doesn't know it initially, or if there's no case of you not knowing it initially, what happens is your awareness is just not there to understand it. If the awareness is not there, what's going to happen is the mind will then figure out a way to discover how to attain the awareness to get it, right? So I can say, I can have $5 to my name, and I can say, why am I so infinitely abundant in a financial capacity, manifesting money every day of my life, right? My mind will figure out how to make that true, even though I only have a certain amount of money in my life, which leads me to the next point. The universe's language is vibration. It's feeling. Pay no mind as best as you can to what is happening on a circumstantial level, on a material level. And here's why. The material world is a transient illusion in the sense that in most cases, the majority of the things that are happening are not going to be permanent. They're going to just be expressions of the idea of the beliefs and conditioning you hold within yourself. So in knowing that and understanding that, we know the very thing that defines us is not our material circumstances, but our inner, right? Our inner spiritual, mental, emotional, and vibrational energy is what matters the most. So let me give you an example. Okay. So in 2019, I was acting, and I just came off of some really successful years. And in my consciousness, I knew that I was a successful actor. I just knew that I was. And that's the belief that I held true, and everything affirmed it. And it was on point. And so that year, I didn't have one acting job happen for me. I auditioned a bunch, but I didn't have one acting job. Now, if my consciousness was rooted in circumstances, in the material world of what was happening, right, I would have felt like a complete failure. But not once did I feel like a failure, because I knew, according to what was inside of me, that was a determining factor of me being a success or a failure. And that's such a simple concept, but it's also a concept that you really have to work at, because I'm going to tell you, it can be difficult sometimes, especially imagine going 300 and, actually it was more than that. I think I went close to 400 or 500 days without working a job into the next year, until I had one of the biggest film experiences in my life in the year of COVID. It can mess with you. And there's a part of you that says, well, maybe I'm not as good as I thought I was. But as soon as that does that, you start to say, okay, am I judging who I know that I am based on what's happening outside of me? Or am I resonating and aligning with the idea that I know to be true within myself from an intuitive standpoint? It makes all the difference. Now, when it comes to manifestation, you're always going to manifest the idea that you believe about yourself and the ideas that you believe about the things in your life, right? So, case in point, an easy example of this is you take relationships. I'll give you a couple of examples, right? You take relationships. If you think that relationships are hard work and relationships are tough, and nobody you know has had a good relationship, and it just seems like, people are just too hard to deal with, that will be your experience, because your thoughts, your beliefs, and your behavior come from the deep-seated thought patterns and energy that's resonating inside of your subconscious mind, right? So that's going to be your belief. That's going to be your result if you're holding those beliefs. You see what I'm saying? Let's say, for instance, money. You could be in a position where you think money's easily to manifest. Money comes in the most fantastic ways, and it surprises you all the time, and there's always enough, and it's always there. And then guess what happens? Money's always there. It comes in fantastic ways. It shows up in a synchronistic manner that, surprises you every single time. And so why does this happen like that? Because in the next section or the next concept, we are The material world is mirroring exactly what we are, exactly what we feel, exactly what we are holding to be true within ourselves. Okay? When we understand the mirror concept, we understand the very thing we see in our awareness, which is in front of us as our circumstances, the very things that are happening are basically a mirror to our consciousness, to the beliefs we're holding within ourselves. Now, this can be a wonderful thing, or this can be something that just scares the daylights out of you. And it needs to be a wonderful thing because it shows you right off the bat, okay, this is what's going on inside of me. What is it attempting to show me? Right? Now, as far as staying on track, law of attraction, right? Let's say I'm in a position to where I want to buy a house. And, I want to buy a house because I need the space and I want to just have a fresh new start, whatever it is. I lay out my affirmations. I'm in the present tense. I understand all the stuff we just talked about. And all of a sudden, I get kicked out of my apartment. Now, if I'm holding true to the idea, right, that I am, in the house of my dreams that gives me the opportunity to experience freedom, comfort, joy, excitement, connection, all these amazing things, fulfillment, and I'm holding that belief true. The reason I could have gotten kicked out of my apartment is to free me up to step right into that situation where I can now finally purchase my home. Or here's the thing, sometimes you don't even need to purchase it. Somebody might leave it to you. Somebody might give you money in order to get it or to buy it or whatever it may be. You never really know what the universe is working. But the truth of the matter is you allow the universe to work in that capacity and in giving you exactly what it is that you've set out for yourself. You see, that's another point where we never know how things are going to manifest. And if we're too stuck on an idea of how it should manifest, we can actually block the thing from happening. Because I'm going to tell you from experience, taking the idea of money, I've taught money and money concepts and abundance and all these things for a long time. You will often, in the beginning, go through some of the toughest times financially before you step into a space where you prosper in a significant way. That's just the kind of the way that it works a lot of times, because the reason being the universe knows if I'm going to get you here, there's a couple steps that you have to go through. There's a couple steps that you have to move and overcome and learn from in order for that to happen, in order for that goal that you're asking for to happen. The reality is the universe is always tuning in, and it is always tuning into our energy to see what it is that we want, to see what it is that we are desiring or moving towards, where our attention is placed. And the beauty is we're either going to move exactly to that thing, or we're going to move to the very thing that's blocking us and stopping us. Okay. And then once we get over that thing that's blocking and stopping us, boom, then we go to the next thing, or the thing of the goal that we're trying to manifest. So there's so many elements to this, and I just want to give you as much as I can, because the reality is the more you understand, the more you know, the more you're equipped to be able to handle when these things unfold, and you can just keep rolling along and keep moving forward with them. And it's going to be really, really amazing to watch as you begin to manifest these things into your life that you have just, man, that you've dreamt of, and that's the beauty of it. And so in moving forward, another powerful method to do, and I know there's a lot of methods out there. There's like the 5-5-5 method, the 55-5 method. There's the 3-6-9, and those things are all great. But you got to understand this: the thing that's going to work the best is the thing that resonates with you the most, right? Sometimes that stuff doesn't necessarily resonate with you. Visualization may not resonate with you. So don't feel like you ever have to do anything that does not resonate and does not align with you perfectly. Find the thing that resonates the most with you. Do that thing because that's the thing that's speaking to your heart. Okay? So in knowing that, what I find is if I just write it down, and I ain't got to write it down 100 times or 100,000 times. I don't have to say it a gazillion different times. But if I write down a goal one time and I do it in a space of openness and authenticity and sincerity, what winds up happening is if I'm patient enough with the universe, I will receive that goal at some point. I'm so blessed to look at all of my old notebooks and look at all of the things that I've wanted to accomplish in my life and manifest, and saw at some point in time, all those things have come to pass, have come forward, right? And they've come forward because one of the biggest things, and this will be my next point, there's no resistance, right? There's no resistance to this happening. So what I like to do is, so at the beginning of this year, I put 2024 goals and I wrote them down. And what I'll do is I'll come back to them like every couple of weeks or so. And the reason why I come back every couple of weeks is because it's kind of like a refresher. Sometimes I'll even wait longer, right? Just to sort of let things sort of come in, because I notice if I'm looking at something every single day, there's a tendency for me to get attached to it. And it's good that I'm mentioning attachment because I want to talk about resistance, okay? And resistance is the number one thing, okay? Is the number one cause to hinder a manifestation, to hinder the law of attraction from working for you in a way that it can serve your life in the highest capacity. And where does resistance lie the most? Resistance lies the most within our mind and within our emotions. And oftentimes what you find is that the resistance will be in a thought pattern, in a belief, in a set of conditions or conditioning within you that is subconsciously blocking you from moving forward. So in how do we know this? Well, one of the biggest keys to understand is if I've been trying to manifest. Sorry, don't say the word try. That's another one. Don't try to do anything. If I have decided to manifest something in my life and it's taking forever, and it's something that maybe not supposedly has to take forever, it's different with certain things, but you just all of a sudden feel blocked. You all of a sudden feel like there's just something stepping in my way. So when you can observe this and you can take a step back and you can kind of see, something's holding me back from getting this. It seems like every time I attempt to step into a universal step to try to do this, something gets into my way. So what do I have to do? I have to go within, right? I have to go within. I have to meditate. Meditation is perfect because meditation allows everything within you to come up to the surface. And all you got to do is ask your higher self the question, what is standing in my way of achieving or manifesting this goal into my life? And you sit there and you allow that silence to come in. And what you'll find is pretty amazing here. What you'll find is you'll either get a hunch, a thought will drop in, or a feeling will come over you, and it will tell you what's blocking you. And the beauty is once the awareness comes to the forefront and you are now conscious of what's blocking you, what's going to happen is that block is going to dissipate, right? See, we live in a world, the law of mentalism, one of the 7 hermetic or 12, or however many it is, universal laws. Mentalism states that the world is a mental world, which means that it operates off thought, and thought is just creative spirit in nature, right? And we have all these thoughts, and the thoughts with the greatest amount of Energy, aligned energy, sincerity, authenticity, genuineness are the ones that are going to manifest the fastest, because stuff that's not loaded with heavy energy is always going to manifest faster because it can move faster, right? Case in point, resistance, right? Another form of resistance that we come up against is attachment. See, attachment makes things so heavy because attachment all of a sudden says, oh, I can't live without this thing. I just need to do this. I need to do this. And you know how you get rid of your attachment? An easy way to get rid of your attachment. You say to yourself, you know, this is something that I want for my life, and this is something I would really enjoy, but I could totally be happy if I didn't get this thing. I could totally live my life and be filled with joy if this thing never manifested. Right? And you get to a place where you can say that and say that honestly. You know what winds up happening? The very thing that you've wanted manifests itself. Why? Because the attachment has been released, which then releases the resistance. And once that resistance is released, it opens up a free channel for that very thing to come to you. Right? Hands down, without any question at all, you begin to see stuff manifest at, I don't say lightning speed, but it's pretty quickly. It manifests when you let go of attachment, when you let go of resistance, when you say, you know what, I'm just going to be here in the present moment and accept everything for what it is, and to just see the beauty that my awareness is bringing me, whether it's a blessing or it's something to learn from. I'm going to just embrace all of it. And then the universe opens up to you. You see, the law of attraction is working all of the time, and it's taking the thoughts that we pay the most attention to. Why? Because the thoughts we pay the most attention to are the thoughts that create the strongest feelings, and the strongest feelings could be anything. Could be fear, could be happiness, could be joy, could be gratitude, could be any one of these things. But the universe takes those through the law of attraction and brings it back to us in the form of circumstances, in the form of a mirror that lies in front of us. And it allows us to see what it is that we're dealing with on the inside, right? You see, you always have to know what's happening internally if you want to know why what's happening outside is happening the way that it is. And when I say outside, I mean in the material world. So we've touched on a whole lot, and I want to keep going here. One of the most important things that I've learned throughout this journey with these two concepts, manifestation and law of attraction, is that, and this is another one, you don't manifest what you want, right? You manifest the energy that you exude. Okay, so I've changed that up. I've found that the way that I've said that is more potent, so to speak, than, I know some people say you don't attract what you want, you attract who you are. Well, guess what? As an energetic, fluid, transient being, I'm different things in different moments, right? One moment I can be one way, the next moment I'm a totally different way. So that tells us, you know, other than the I amness, the divine essence, we are consistently, in every sense of the word, right? We are consistently manifesting the energy that we're exuding. Now, some people may say, okay, well, I understand that. Now, but tell me this, you know, how am I, right? How am I supposed to like deal with that and help that? Because here's the thing. You deal with it by having what we call a resting vibration, right? When something happens in your life, for me, the resting vibration is peace. The resting vibration is poise. The resting vibration is calm. The resting vibration is the joy that comes from the understanding that I am the infinite. I am an infinite being made in the image and likeness of the Creator. When I return back to that resting state and resting vibration, I begin to manifest according to that, right? In the past, I found myself trying trying to be something else, not really knowing what my resting vibration was. And I would always find myself in a position that never allowed me to be the best that I could be because I wasn't being authentic. And that's something else I want to add in here is that the universe can only bring to you what you are in the most authentic capacity possible. It only speaks genuineness. It only speaks sincerity. It only speaks authenticity. If you notice, the most authentic things, whatever they are always going to be the things that manifest in your life, no matter what it is. So guess what? If it's chaos, it means that chaos is the most authentic thing to you. If it's luck and prosperity and things working out and joy, guess what? That is the most sincere, authentic vibration to you that you're giving to the universe. So that's what's going to happen. And it's going to continue to unfold, right? And this goes with every single thing. You got to be sincere. You have to be authentic when you want something. Sometimes we want things, but the feeling is not powerful enough. It's not sincere enough for us to create a strong enough charge with the universe to manifest it, right? So, back in the day, we used to have actors all the time say, oh, I want to be famous, right? Or I am famous, living in Hollywood, acting in the biggest films. And so nothing would happen. A couple years would go by and nothing would happen. And so you get to the bottom of it and you say, okay, well, what is this belief really about? Well, I don't really know. Well, yeah, you got to know. Okay, so let's go deeper. What does fame do for you? Well, fame helps me to be seen. Okay, got it. Oh, want to be seen. Got it. Okay, what else? Fame helps me to be loved and approved by people. Exactly. So what you really want is you want to be seen and you want to be loved and approved by people. Now, the universe is so beautiful because it won't necessarily give you fame to do that. It will wait for you to find that within yourself, for you to see yourself, for you to prove yourself, for you to love on yourself. It will give you that opportunity to do that. And then once you master that, then if fame is in your highest capacity, your highest path, you'll see it manifest itself. But always remember, we will always get what is most sincere and genuine and authentic to us, no matter what it is. When you know that, you'll be flying high. And some things you'll be so glad that you didn't get because you know it's not authentic to you, right? So I'm going to wrap it up here in just a bit. I'm going to give you one more method to understand. And honestly, this is not the sexiest, but it's the most, it's probably the most important. There is a divine timing to everything. There's a divine timeline, a highest divine timeline of source to everything. Being able to stay within that timeline and that timing comes down to being able to be as patient as possible as the universe brings things about. See, often we can't see, I was talking about this today with my wife. We can't see all of the moving parts that are unfolding in life to get us what it is that we want. There's so many things happening behind the scenes that we don't even have to be worried or concerned about, but they're happening and they have to happen in order for you to move into the space that you desire to move into. But if we are impatient, we can disrupt that manifestation quicker than anything. And I've seen so many times, right? A few times in my own life until I learned, but I've seen so many times, so many instances with people where they're on the right path and everything's going well, but because it looks like nothing is happening, they quit, they give up. And the fact of the matter is, everything is happening behind the scenes to set this thing up in order for you to realize and manifest what it is that you desire to manifest. And you just have to be patient. As long as you're patient, as long as you are open and willing and allowing and just accepting of whatever life gives you until that thing manifests, man, you'll feel so good. You'll know, okay, this was the exact divine right timing. This was the highest timeline. And because I was patient enough to wait for it, it unfolded perfectly in every single sense. It's that patience that allows us to do the impossible. It's that patience that allows us to manifest those things that once seemed like they could never manifest. Out of everything that I told you, the number one thing is to remain patient as you're waiting patiently for your thing to manifest itself into your physical reality. I promise you, when it does, it's going to light up your world. And in that patience gives you the ability to trust the universe, to trust that the universe has your back, that the universe loves you, that the universe is working things out in your favor all the time. You just got to be patient. Patience pays off hugely. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, 37 minutes in, I hope you enjoyed this message, this episode. This is a lot of fun stuff, and this is great because, it really helps us to dive into that truth of manifestation in a really in-depth capacity. And so I'm very happy I had the opportunity to do that with you here on this Saturday night. So with that being said, guys, please, by all means, share this podcast with anybody you feel like who can benefit from it. I'm looking forward to doing more episodes on the Ultimate Manifestation Podcast. If you have any comments, as we said in the beginning, any feedback, any questions, please write to us at shaung04@gmail.com, and we will get back to you as soon as we can. Other than that, enjoy your Saturday night, your Saturday afternoon, your Sunday morning, whatever it is, wherever you are, wherever you're listening to this. Enjoy your day. Be blessed, and we will talk to you soon. Thanks so much. Take care. Bye-bye.